Welcome, welcome, welcome. What's up, LIB
Hey,
and Trapper? How
What's up?
y'all doing tonight? Saturday.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Oh, a bunch of. It's raining outside.
is it?
Yeah,
We
it's
ain't on
raining.
a hunt.
Yeah, we're gonna get hit tomorrow. I know that. Bad.
Yeah, it's coming. It's pouring here. It's
What's up,
pouring.
everyone? Sally Joe's here. G&B. Tracy Dover.
Hello, hello, hello. So tonight, good discussion. The ins and outs of Bigfoot. My thoughts, your thoughts. Everybody's been asking for it. I figure I was going to drop a video tonight, but I passed on that to do this. I think it'd be a lot easier. How's everyone doing? So if we don't get to your questions, I'm sorry. Thank you all for joining. It's going to be a good discussion. We got LIB here to give us his input. So, y'all ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do
All
it.
right. Thank you all for being here tonight. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. All right. Here we go. Topic. Everybody wants to know how I feel about Bigfoot and my thoughts on Bigfoot. Now, I've been doing this for almost 3 years. Trapper, you've been along with me for about what? A little over 2.5.
Yeah, it's been that long already. Dang.
Been that long already.
We're pretty
We're not
fast.
done yet. Definitely
No.
not done.
Just warming up.
Just, getting our feet wet. That's what it feels like. Because now we're in deeper. The rabbit hole got deeper.
That's right.
Especially after last night. Last night.
Yeah, especially after last night. But I don't know if the world knows or not, but I call LIB and I talk to LIB a lot on things that he's helped me through this process. Things that I have questions with. I'll call him up and be like, what is going on? And he'll be like, bam, I got you. Sometimes he'll just say, you know what, brother, I'm going to send you on this journey by yourself. Call me when you get back.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So last night was a good picture of, to me, it looked like Bigfoot. What did it look like to you, Trapper?
Are you talking about the two pictures I sent to you?
Yeah.
All right. I can't explain those two pictures. I mean, I give a shout out to Sally Joe. She sent me like 29 pictures, but I think I sent you 2 of them last night. I know I have not got to everybody's pictures yet. I am sorry. But I am getting it. I'm getting to them all. But those 2 pictures I sent to you, that face, man, that face was like, I mean, normally when I get these pictures, okay, some of them's blurry and you can't really make them out. You can see the shadows in them, stuff like that. This one, that face, I mean, I showed that to Mrs. Trapper last night. I'm like, look at this. And she's like, oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, because you can clearly see a face, in those bushes.
Eyes, nose, mouth, cheekbones,
Everything.
the brawl.
I believe that is one of the best pictures that we've seen in a very long time with us. And then the next picture I sent to you, you can literally see how you can see it standing there and how tall it was. I don't know. Wicked.
One of the best pictures I've ever seen. Had me convinced. I mean, I was running around the house like, look at this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This cameraman's like, what? I'm like, yeah.
It was wicked. I mean, it was shocked. I was just shocked to see the pictures that I saw. I was just shocked. I mean, the whole night I knew something was there. As soon as I crossed over that bridge, as soon as I crossed that bridge last night, things were being thrown. You're still up. Geez, you're way up, maybe 200-300 feet above me. Because I wasn't going to go down in that ravine because I didn't think my camera was going to,
Yeah, and
I didn't know if I was going to stay live or not,
The add to that, just so you know, I caught it on night vision, standing there.
You told me that. And that's awesome that you got that. Take a still shot of that too. And,
Oh yeah, that's I was going to release that video today, but I wanted to do this first. Thoughts and man, amazing catch, Sally Joe. Wow, everybody with the pictures. Wow.
Yeah, I mean the pictures that I get from everybody, I appreciate them so much. I mean, I really do. Is some of these pictures I look at, it shocks me that we all even go out and do this.
Are you glad we don't see him at the time?
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know what I would if I was out there and if I saw that when I'm out there. I don't know what I would do.
You did see it once.
I saw
you had a face-to-face encounter, but then it was like you weren't even there.
I was not even there. I was totally out of it. Yeah, I don't remember much of that night. Of that incident.
Well, on my thermal, when I showed you, and obviously I'm holding the thermal, and going around. I show you. You see where you're at. This thing standing there looking at you. It goes to the left and kind of just dissipates.
Yeah.
Plainly see. And I'm going like this on the thermal with my hand. The thermal's out in front of me, and I'm like circling it. You can see my hand on the thermal, and I'm going, right there. And goes to the left and gone.
Yeah.
You're still going like this with the camera. I'm going, what the?
Hey, Sally Joe, if you haven't put those pictures on the Facebook, can you please do that so everybody can kind of tell what we're talking about?
I was taking a look. I'm not sure if they're there yet. They might not be there.
All right. So where did it go? Dimensions?
I don't know. Well, that thing stuck around all night. I mean, it followed us out. I know it followed us out. Even when I'm walking up that side, it was literally right on me. I even said on camera, I felt like something was like right on my heels. I felt like something was, like how you're walking somewhere and you can tell someone's behind you, or someone's behind you, and
right.
you're about to feel a tap on your shoulder. It's like, hey, I'm right here. You know what I'm saying? I felt that all the way up until I met you at the top of the ridgeline.
Yeah, and that dog, whatever I heard, it sounded like a dog, like a vicious dog. And I had the video rolling, and I grabbed, I set the camera down because I was going to do something. I was like, oh my God, that's a vicious dog in the forest. I grabbed the camera, and I'm like, it's up on the ridge. And this thing, when I went to turn the camera, it was like, and I was like, it's coming, like really fast. It was like, what the hell just happened to it? Like it was coming, and it like something swooped down and grabbed this thing and just threw it while it was still. You can hear it off in the distance. It was like, what the?
I remember hearing that dog come. I remember hearing it come down that down that hillside.
It was coming.
And I remember you saying something, but it was quick.
And it's like something came, swooped it up, and Wyatt was like, blah, 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 like took it really fast, and like, you can hear it going, like really far, and it was like, there's no way. And that's what I said on camera. I was like, there is no way that thing was coming. It was coming down the ridgeline, and something grabbed it or something.
Well, it's important. It's important that you're saying it like that, like just being honest with what you felt in that moment, and saying it felt like something picked it up and threw it away, like that.
Right.
Like it's important to talk about those initial like things that you think and feel, because every minute that goes by after that, the human doubt comes into play, and you talk about it, like everything we've been brainwashed into, all that stuff just starts to come, and go and more and more and more, you start to get away from it. So I always say, like, I don't care what you thought happened in that initial moment, just jot it down somewhere. If you thought
Right.
a unicorn rode rode a dragon through a ring of fire, just say it, jot it down, like, because there might be some importance to it.
Right. And
Right.
that's what it sounded like. Like something swooped in, grabbed this thing, and threw it. You know what I'm saying? And it was like viciously coming down that ridge, and then all of a sudden it was like like off it went. It was like, that's the best way I can explain it. You can hear it on the video. It's like, and I'm dumbfounded. I'm going, there's no way. And in that time, I'm like searching for stuff in my bag. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to shoot this thing. No, I'll just spray it in the face. I'll just bear mace it. I don't want to fight a dog. Oh, man.
I mean, I know we're making light of it, but you got to wonder, like, did something save you that day? Like, you know what I mean? Was there going to be more to it? Like, that could have been bad. Yeah, I've had that situation where Sasquatch showed up like Superman. Like, you know what I mean? There's like, like in a movie, like just da, 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 da,
You're right.
and it's like, is that what happened there? I don't know.
That's
But
what I
that's
would
why I
think.
say it's important to remember like what you initially thought.
Right. I mean, that was wild. And then that, it's like, where did it go? I mean, we know it was around us, but then where did it go?
Right.
How did it get there? Where did it go? There was a sighting. We know that. I mean, there was 28 sightings in that spot this year. There was one, we were there, and there was a sighting on Saturday and a sighting on Sunday. So we went back, just.
Yeah, I mean, that's the wicked thing about it was we were in that area the weekend before on that Saturday, and we were checking out the sighting before, and then you called me Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, you called me Friday. Yeah, today's Saturday. You called me Friday. I'm sitting in the office, and you called me and said, "Hey, we gotta go check this thing out." They just had a sighting on Sunday. And we left. I mean, we left Saturday.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a different section of the trail, but nevertheless, it was probably only like a mile apart or a half mile apart of each other. And for something like that, that's literally nothing.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. And last weekend, we seen what we thought would be prints, along with someone following, looking for it. Boot prints,
Yeah, on the other side of that river.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, where did that, I believe I said dog man. I was like, is that a dog man? Would that be considered a dog man? I don't know, people, you tell me, but it sounded pretty wild. And then that happened. How? Where did it take it? Where did it go? Where did it, I get people saying dimensions, or people going, okay, they came from a different realm into ours, and then they can walk into a tree and disappear. We've had that tons of times, right?
Yeah, just the tracks disappearing.
Yep.
Right.
Prints leading to trees, and then they're gone.
And then, I was bringing up to MT the other day. I said, MT, the only way that this could be plausible, because we live in a 3D world, but we only see 2D. Do you understand that? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So saying that our brain helps us see in this 3D world. Now, I was listening to a guy that said there's a fourth and a fifth dimension, and the third, fourth, and fifth dimension. Anything, past our dimension, seeing in our, 2D, anything past that, you wouldn't, like I could talk to you and not say nothing. I'm saying? I can just think it. You'd go, oh yeah, absolutely. I could see through things. I can move through things. And I was thinking, well, okay, there's got to be something more to this, because if the third, fourth, and, the farther up the dimensions, the smarter you get, the more abilities you get. Now, then what crossed my mind was, okay, there's steps to this. Your 9-to-5ers that go to work, they don't see nothing much. They might, bump in the night or something weird, might happen, and they write it off and go back to the rat race. And then I was telling MT, I was like, okay, then you got your hunters that go out there, they're going 9 to 5. They go into the woods, they're getting ready to go get those deer. Now they're tapping into senses that they normally don't use. You know what I'm saying? They only use it one time a year. And they're searching for deer. They're quiet. They're more tuned into, their hunts. And they're hearing things, tree knocks, maybe writing it off. And then you got people like us that have time under our belt. We're out there. We kind of listen to everybody. We're learning. We're more in tuned. Now we get to see these things. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Does that have anything to play into our abilities? We don't use a lot of our brain, but what if doing this, we get to see these things, and we get to record interactions and weird things that happen from another dimension, a 3D world, 4D world, 5D world. Mm-hmm. What if there you can come across?
Mm-hmm. Are you asking all of us, or just?
Yeah, I'm asking anybody that wants to. What do you think, Mike? See,
well, I have different understandings too, and I'm not saying that it's limited to this, but it boils down to everything is energy, and then like my understanding of Sasquatch being like a multi-elemental, and them using the trees as conduit to travel. Now they break themselves down, I guess, maybe into an orb or something to that effect. However they do it, I don't necessarily know exactly, but you find these, the tree snaps and the bends and all that, and they're connecting, the forest, almost like wiring in your house, right? And then the structures are, just like outlets or stopping stations and things to that effect. Maybe there's a lot more to it, maybe they're portals, maybe they're entrances and exits, doors to different dimensions, right? I don't have all the answers, but I do know that they travel through there. And those bends and breaks are them keeping that tree alive. They could easily snap that tree off in half, right? Easily. They could snap it all the way off if they wanted to. They could knock it in half, but that's not the purpose. It's not. They're trying to keep it alive, to keep the energy flowing through it and keep it, and preserve life. And then humans, here we come, with saws and all this crap and cutting them up. And once you go off trail, you start to see more. You start to step into their world. It's very perfectly by design that if you stay on a trail, you're not going to see much, and out of sight, out of mind, right? It's hard, but I always say it. I always tell people, look at all that cut wood in one place, like where there was probably a structure that came across the trail, and it's not easy until you do it for a while, but you could start to look at all the cut wood and piece it back together and see what it was. And they're trying to connect the forest back together, because we're putting these trails down, and they're trying to put it back together, and then we just keep coming back through and hacking away at it. Maybe they just put it together because they wanted to cross there or whatever. I don't know exactly. Like I said, I don't have all the answers, but there's some things that I've, figured out along the way. And while it's way out there, I wouldn't talk about it if it wasn't the way it took me. I wish it was simpler. I wish I could just be like, oh, this is some tactical giant out there, and and we could flush him into the corner over here, and and catch his ass, right? Like, and hey, talk to me, big, like, but it's not that easy. It's just there's so much depth on the dimensions we talked about a minute ago. I call them phantom footsteps, but what I'm saying is they're walking with me. I can hear them walking with me or walking around me or running past me, but there's nothing there. And that's not the same as cloaked. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't call that cloaked. I would call that, when I hear that, I don't think they're cloaking. I think they're in a, in that next dimension over, to the point where if I'm not, which is almost, it's damn near impossible to get in tune. I'm almost impossible. Like, it takes a lot, a lot. And it boils down to also why I think some people see them near water. A lot of times I don't necessarily think it's just because waterways are like easy ways, or we've talked about this, or power lines are easy ways. I think they're also energy areas, high energy areas that they're utilizing. I think when we're by water, we're also more calm. Whether we know it or not, we calm down. So I think people tend to see them more because they're just, humans are just more in like a, calm, relaxed state. Again, there's so many different avenues and different things you could take, can go down once you open up that Pandora's box of Sasquatch not just being that flesh and blood creature. And I'm not saying they're not, because I've seen that too. That's right. The first thing I saw was a flesh and blood Sasquatch, all 10-foot, 1,000-pound shit brick house of them. And if I would have just left and walked out of those woods and never went back in again, that would have been my understanding, and only my understanding, right? And that's it. That's where it would have ended for me. But I continued to go and go and go, and it continued to go and go and go. And, I don't have a category. I would never dare try to put it into a box and say, this is what they are. But
it's all stuff we don't understand completely. So
yeah,
that's right. For the past week,
that's why every single time I go out, I don't care what I learned the day before, the week before, the year before. I just go out like, hey, I don't know nothing. I'm just here, like, respectfully, humbly. What do you got for me today, universe? I'm your student.
Right. Do you believe when you go out, like, I like going out and touching a tree, putting my hand on a tree and just giving it that nice, calm energy going through. I don't want your energy. Here's mine. Here's my intentions.
True. So that's what some of the best advice I can give to people is to, if you want to experience Sasquatch, because it's not always about like a sighting, right? Like, but if you want to experience them, is to stop looking for Patty, because they're one with that forest. They're one with those woods. So, they're connected to it one way or another. You're not going to always see that just out in the open walking. It's going to be very, very rare if you ever see it, right?
Right.
And then as well, try to do the same thing on your end. Become as one with that forest as you can, because in turn you're becoming one with them. You know what I'm saying? And everything just becomes on an equal playing field. And and like you said, like, go in and like share your energy with the trees or whatever. I learned from some natives a while back. They were like, don't just go bull charging in there. They were like, we ask for permission to walk under every branch, because we asked that tree for permission to walk under every branch and thank it for safe passage and thank it for protecting us, and this and that. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on, all the way down to the leaf and to the stem and to the, to the way it falls. That leaf doesn't consider when it falls off that tree, it doesn't consider death. It's happy to have spent time with the tree, and then it drops and it nourishes the ground, which, it's like this whole big life cycle that we can tend to just trample through and take for granted because we're looking for Sasquatch. But
Right.
immerse yourself in it all, and it'll help you get closer to them.
Right. I think it helps with results,
Yeah.
Yep. Trapper, what do you feel?
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that.
Trapper.
Here we go, Trapper. Here we go.
I mean, I don't know. I've been in the woods my whole entire life. I mean, I built a business around being in the woods, what part of me want to say, I mean, because I am a hunter, I'm a trapper, and I mean, I built a business around doing that. And part of me wants to say, yes, they're flesh and blood, but another part of me is saying, just like exactly what Mike is saying, I mean, that goes really for anything, I mean, I was taught as a young age, you go out there, and even tracking, when I do a lot of tracking, that's part of tracking. Tracking to me is you're being part of, you have to get in one with nature, in one with the woods. Tracking is a lot of instinct. It's not just finding tracks and following them, finding branches where something could be broken off, or leaves turned over, or whatever. A lot of it, some of it, like when you lose a track, it goes by instinct. So going into instinct means now you're becoming one with nature. And so I don't know what to think. I really don't. I mean, listen to Mike explain what, his part of it. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to me, but I mean, I don't know. I think maybe I'm still too new at it. I mean, you and Mike here, you guys been doing a lot longer than I have. I'm still trying to figure it out.
No, I mean, everybody is the most important piece of the puzzle. Every last one of us. Don't matter if you started today or you started 10 years ago. Don't make a difference. First of all, we could all stand shoulder to shoulder and Sasquatch walks by us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not one of us are going to tell that the same way. And it's not because we didn't watch the same thing happen. It's just a perception thing. You know what I mean? And there's something to take away from each individual from that.
Right.
And that's where sharing becomes so important. Just by sharing things with people, a lot of ding, ding, light bulbs have just gone ding, 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 where I was literally, the answer was sitting in front of my face. And I'm walking in circles over and over and over again. All I had to do was just say it, and somebody else said, "Oh, do you think it could be da 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 da?" And it was like, damn, like, how the hell did I not? But it's because it wasn't in my repertoire. The info that led me there was not within me. So how do I know? And they didn't choose to hand me the answer that time. You know what I mean? There's lessons in it all, one way or another. And yeah.
I think it's, I've said this on my video. Trapper might see something out there that I don't see. I might see something that he don't see. Same with Mike, same with me, same with you. We, like you just said, we could all be standing shoulder and see it all differently. And that's, a lot of people go, well, we don't see it in the video on my comments. I don't get mad at that. They'll be like, there's nothing there. This is a waste of time. I don't even know why I watched. And then the comment below goes, oh my God, that was the biggest thing I ever seen. And the eye shine was there. And, and I tell that person that left, this is a waste of time. Maybe it wasn't for you to see, maybe it just wasn't for you to see. Stick around. Maybe we'll come up with something for you to see. We're not out here trying to fake it. We're not going to go into an area all the time and there's going to be a Bigfoot or some kind of interaction, something, you know, whether it be paranormal. Well, I think it's all paranormal. If you ask me, I think it all ties in together because Bigfoot's not normal and ghosts aren't normal. Aliens aren't normal. You know, I think it's just all paranormal. It's just a word.
Guess you could say to us, right? Us as people, most things that like that are considered paranormal, but I always think, I try to think a little bit in a different sense to maybe they are, but maybe it's just beyond what we understand. And it's something that is there that hasn't made itself obvious to everyone, but it might be maybe in a way just as normal as anything else. But we consider paranormal because you talk about the 2D and the 3D.
Right.
Things that are in that realm with us are pretty much what we consider normal. So things that come out of that are unexplained that we, you know, so that covers a lot, right? Paranormal.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Right. I mean, there's some animals out there that if you didn't know they existed and I gave you a description of what that animal is and what its capabilities were, you'd probably look at me and be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what is it, an alien? You know what I mean? But, you know, like, it's just crazy, right? So they get like octopus, for instance, right? Like, if they can fit their head through it, they can fit their whole body. Like, you know, they can.
Right.
Like, there's a mimic octopus that like changes and everything, but it doesn't just change color. Like, it could change the consistency of its skin and, like, you know, and turn it like and make it.
Right.
Make ridges and make, like, there's so many different things that
be this big and fit through that hole.
Yeah,
Right.
even a bat. Like, if I described a bat to you and you didn't know what a bat was, yeah, it lives in a cave and it hangs upside down and it, you know, it sits there all night. It's blind. It flies by sonar. What? It flies, but it's blind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's quite possible. Yeah, I see where you're going with that, though, for sure.
Right. And if these, you know, like they now, you know, everybody believes in aliens now, you know, the government's out there chasing them. If these things are smarter than us, they're from a different, you know, realm, you know, outside of our galaxy, and they're coming here, you know, and we're going, wow, we're the smartest thing on earth. Well, obviously we're not, because we can't chase them down. There's nothing that we could do to stop them. They can go deep in the sea, and we can't go deep down in the sea like they can. They can fly, you know, they're like, Mach 1. Gone, you know. So maybe
if you look at
lower.
If you look at the things that need to go 10,000, like the submarines that go like 10,000 feet down or whatever, like if you look at those things, they're spaceships. Like it takes a specific, highly engineered person to operate that thing, and like it's a spaceship. It's just nobody's talking about it because it's on Earth. It's because it's going down. But I always say that too. I don't think they want us looking down there. You know what I mean? I really don't. I think it's kind of a look at the birdie situation, but we won't dive into conspiracy theories like that.
Right.
There's a lot going on down there.
I mean, the point is, what if, you know, they're coming in and we're the lesser of the smart end? You know what I'm saying? That's
where a lot of, I think, you know, ego comes into play too. A lot of ignorance and a lot of ego, because you're trying to. A lot of men walk around like they're, you know, that's their thing, right? Dominance. Like, we're the smartest, we're the best, we're top tier. So to tell them that there's something out there that's more intelligent is like, that's where it stops. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it stops. You know, they beat their chest, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, amazing. Amazing pictures. Amazing action.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the rabbit hole has started to deepen. Is that why we're here?
Yeah, the rabbit hole has gotten deeper. I mean, there's just, it's becoming cut or dry. It's become cut and dry. You know, you can only do so many chases. You can only go on so many night hunts. You can only see so many flesh and blood creatures walking
Right.
past you before you go, how?
Right. Which is what I mean, I knew this day would come, right? Which is like a lot of, like you said earlier, a lot of times I was just like, all right, all right. Like I just kind of knew I had to give you a little bit of time to feel your way through. And I don't like to insert myself too much. You know what I mean? I'll let people come to me with certain things and say, hey, like I'm like at a stuck point here, or like, hey, this is driving me crazy, or hey, I'm scared shitless, like whatever the case may be, and I'll, go back with them. But when it's somebody like you guys, like a situation like you guys have, where you're consistently going out, you're doing it respectfully, you're doing it properly, you're not hurting nobody. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get in the way of nothing you guys are doing. I want to, I wanted to see that naturally unfold and just see where it went, and it's been fun to watch, to be honest with you. A lot of times I'm just watching and I want to jump in and I want to say things, but I put my hands off the keyboard,
Right. I think it's awesome. I hope that we could work together, all of us, bring our heads together and bang them together and find out a way that we can advance. You know what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying,
I do.
Take it deeper.
I think a lot of the evidence for going down to some theories now, it just seems like the theory's starting to just evolve because of the things that we've seen and heard. We've seen things that just seem to be there and then they're gone, and hear things that just come out of nowhere that you don't even hear at the time, but somehow there they are on your recordings and they weren't there when you didn't hear them or see them. So, I think we've been accumulating that kind of like evidence. And with the thermals that you captured, West Branch, you're seeing something coming in or just either changing shape or changing what it is, coming in, going out, leaving. So I think the evidence has been there. It's just like been kind of accumulating so much. We're trying to now focus on like, where is it coming from? Where is it going to? How did it get here? That's where the dimension thing I think ties in, because there's some kind of travel going on, and where it's coming from is the big question for a lot of different things.
Right. And I think that, I don't think that we can build anything to advance, what we're doing. I think, man, it's hard to say. It's hard to say what I want to say. I think we stay down the road, but advance in our way of thinking, how to bring these things out, we haven't faked a hunt. We don't fake hunts. I think everybody is in agreement. Mm-hmm. What we do and what you see is what we see. Sometimes a camera catches stuff that we don't see. We'll be on a live and people will be like, it's 10 feet in front of you to the right. And it'll be like 10 feet to the right. I don't see it, but the camera does.
Sure.
There's
no, correct me if I'm wrong. There's no tool necessarily that's going to advance or make you like get there faster, right? And that's good to know, because that's the truth. You just got to keep placing yourself there and experiencing, and let it unfold on their terms for the most part. And and that's what you're really doing now. Having all these extra tools is great, because you're collecting different data. You're giving yourselves and other people different ways of seeing things. You're giving them different ways to utilize different things, because a lot of times it's not necessarily that you're catching things by luck, right? It's like at least 50% of the time, it's interaction. You know what I mean? They're putting themselves there on purpose. You know, it's not
Right.
it's a big vast forest. It's not like you stumble into them by luck, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I know what you're saying.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they find us.
Yeah.
Right. For the most part, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I usually say, call them in, you know, and I was trying to explain this on the video, you know, give them time to get to you. Let them know you're there. Share your energy, do your thing, call them in. Just don't go in there, start banging on trees, yelling and try to get some interaction. That's just, it's never worked out for us when, you know, back in the day when I tried it.
Well, they probably
It worked out when I was, you know.
I told the guy that once a while back. He's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I was out there last night. We were out there, and he's like, you know, next thing you know, the sun was coming up, and he's like, at the beginning of the night, you know, around 9, as soon as we got there, we knocked on a tree and something knocked back." I said, "So 9 o'clock, something knocked back, and you stayed there till sunrise, and nothing else happened?" He's like, "Well, no, we didn't get much else activity." I said, "They were probably sitting there like somebody just go knock back, and then so they just, you know, they'll be satisfied." You know what I mean?
Then they slept the rest of the time, and you were just waiting the whole time.
Yeah. They're just sitting there
They're
watching.
you.
Look at
And you
this
know,
guy.
I think a lot of what we're talking about goes back to like what we all kind of do, and that's always like communicate our intent. And a lot of times, I think the communication part of it is us doing it, which is like, I would imagine if they get the acknowledgement from us that we're making an attempt, and they might even know our intent before we even say a word, but just acknowledging our intent shows the respect. And I think that is the biggest thing with the communication. So sometimes, like I've noticed wherever we've gone, sometimes we don't necessarily even have to do much, because if we just go and we usually are, you know, we make our intent known and that we're there to communicate, I think that like opens that door up, and then the communication will start to come to us because that intent is known, and that might be what they're looking for. But I would think that's why most people don't notice and see things, because it's like if somebody's just going for a jog through the park, you know, if there is something else there that might want to interact, they're not going to try to interact with somebody jogging. You know, they might, if somebody's there going, "Hey, you know, I want to talk to you," then they're going to be kind of more inclined to want to interact with us. So we don't necessarily even have to do a lot other than just show the willingness to communicate.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. A lot of it, I think there's a cultural thing too. Like when I go to a new place, something I do that I've always done, and I never talked about it until probably about a year ago. But I go, and when I get there, I don't care what the weather is like. I take my shoes and socks off, and I put my bare foot in whether it's the moss or the mud, the sand, whatever, and I put my bare handprint. And I figure it's cultural. They're barefoot. Like I'm giving them, you know, kind of like what I'm asking of them, or like what I'm kind of showing them myself, like humbling myself, showing like, you know, that I will be barefoot with you, and like out here in your, you know, almost like how you would take your shoes off and go to somebody's house. You would bring a gift the first time, you know, whatever, when you went there, like it'd be, you see what, you know what I mean, right? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
It's just like yeah.
It's like your way of letting them know you're trying to relate to them.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things about trying to show your connection to whoever you're communicating with, show your willingness and like acknowledgement that you're trying to relate to them somehow, and not just trying to force something.
I always bring gifts too, because, and I always say, gifting is so important, because it's not just the act of gifting. It puts you in a mindset of, especially if you're new at it, it puts you in a mindset of you're putting it there, you're opening a relationship, you're showing intent, you're putting yourself in a mindset of saying, okay, I'm putting this here because I do believe that something else is going to see it, receive it, maybe take it, whatever, maybe give me something back. And you're putting yourself into this whole, like, psychological mindset. And it just puts you into that intent that you're looking for. So that's why I always tell people, like, if you have trouble with that intent, bring a gift, because it will subconsciously put you right into it.
Right. And, not necessarily that, like my buddy's like, why do you take food out there? Animals are going to get to it. And I'm like, well, that's okay. If they don't come take it, that's okay. I'm still showing intent. I'm saying thank you. And they might enjoy. They might say, there's something in need that thank you for feeding these guys.
Yeah.
Not necessarily gifting us, but Mother Nature herself, the forest itself. It's alive. It's full of energy, good energy.
If I bring a dozen apples, I smash two, against the base of a tree or a rock or whatever, because I'm leaving it there for the critters and the deer and whatever. I leave a couple down low for the deer, and then I'll put the rest up high or whatever. You know what I mean? And like I spread it out that way amongst them, and like just and however they divvy it out is how they divvy it out, And like you said, it's just the act of showing it. It's not necessarily that they need it. They've survived forever, but they don't need what we're giving them. That's why I hear people don't feed them, because then if you stop feeding them, they're gonna come and rah rah rah. You're not dealing with Sasquatch. I don't know what you got, but it's not Sasquatch.
Trapper leaving that necklace thing out there. That was cool, and they brought it back to you. They gifted it back.
Completely like ways.
They said Trapper didn't go to Jared. They didn't go to Tiffany's next time.
Yeah, they might have said, like, this isn't gonna fit me.
It's gonna turn my fern green.
Yeah, that was cool though. It came back. I like that. That was awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah. So I hope. I'm sorry that we're not catching up with the messages yet, but I wanted to get this out there, get it kind of explained how my theory is and these guys' theories are, and set you in a direction of what we kind of think. So when you watch the shows and you see what we're doing, then you kind of understand,
I'll be right back, guys. Hold on.
Now I know why he touches a tree. Now I know why Trapper, or I might send Trapper off, but I watch him on the cam, there he goes, guys, because Trapper has a good heart.
Yep.
And
well, thank you.
I'm not saying that I don't, but Trapper has that good heart.
Yeah.
And things interact with certain things. I might want to mess with them. Like, I'm going to mess with them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It does. It makes you a target one way or another. Whether it's something like seeing you and wanting to interact like happily with you, or like some dark energy that's like, look at this glowing son of a bee. You know what I mean? Like, but it's written all over you. Like, I mean,
right. He's just a good-hearted person, and it's like, Trapper, go out there. Good, go 100 feet. Let's see. And I'm like, all right, guys, there he goes. And they're like, you're using him as bait. Yep. Because they're not going to hurt him. They're just not going to hurt him. If they were going to hurt him, they would have stomped on us when we first came in, And with that thing last night, obviously with what we got in the picture, man, that was a great picture.
Yeah.
That was a great picture. Head, face, eyes, nose, mouth.
I have to see it. I have to check it out.
You can literally see every detail in that face.
Yes. And then with that, I don't know if it was a dog man, because I don't know how dog man acts. I don't know if they're aggressive. I don't know. But whatever, I'll just say a big mean coyote coming down the side of the, ridge. Something grabbed it and was all like, "No, you're not." And that thing's off into wherever, but something stopped it.
Yeah,
So
it did. I mean, as fast as it came in, it went out faster.
yeah, I mean, and it was still flying through the air or whatever, wherever it was going. But something, so does it give me, safety about being out there? I mean, I can tell you twice that it saved me, that I believe. Twice. I believe the night that I was out there and I had to stay out there that night. I didn't have a flashlight and I only had my phone and my phone's going out. And then I heard something growl. And then I heard those tree knocks behind. Bam, bam, bam. And then no more growling. I think that was something going, no, you're not messing with them. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they protect us in that way. Now, does that make me feel 100% safe again? No, because there's things out in that forest that will get you, 100%. There's things out there that see you as a food source, so I will always continue to carry a handgun, bear spray, knife, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever will keep me safe, in a bad situation, not necessarily to use it against them, but they keep me safe and everyone safe around me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So don't take that Bigfoot's going to save you if a bear's coming toward you, because,
it might not. Yeah. But
might not.
Yeah. It's always good to have something to protect yourself against a large predator like that. Or, I have like an air horn. That's like a first line of defense is like this air horn. And it's similar to firing a warning shot. You know what I mean? And it just hopefully it makes them want to go the other way.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So how's that make you feel, Trapper?
I mean, I feel, we've ran into some sketchy things out there in the middle of the night.
You're gonna have to scoot a little bit closer, Trapper.
Sorry. I mean, we ran into some really kind of sketchy things out there before. Last year, we ran. One of them, something got really mad that we were there. I mean, so you kind of feel the vibe when you step out. I can feel the vibe as soon as we get out there into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me a little bit to maybe understand the vibe, I guess, but like last night, for instance, something kept telling me to go down. Don't worry about your camera. Your camera's going to stay live. Just keep going down into the ravines of the trail. Keep following that trail. Something told me to go down there. It kept pushing me to go. And I went.
Yeah.
The live stayed on. And then we got a lot of that cool stuff that happened down there last night.
Yeah, a lot of people will. Now, how do you explain that you could trust what you were getting? Because some people will say like, "Oh, I felt something like nudging me," or like I kept hearing like, "Oh, you should go this way, and you should do this," but it's a demon. It's a demon telling me to do this. You know what I mean? And it's a trap, and it's taking me down there to kill me. And you know what I mean? Like, so how do you? I mean, I'm just curious.
It's like a feeling I have when I get out there. It's like a calm feeling. It's just like even after the incident we had a year ago, you go out there, I just feel that calm feeling, relaxed kind of thing. Yeah. But there's other nights I've gone out with Jack and I'm really uneasy. And I've told Jack right up front before we go out, I'm like, man, tonight doesn't seem like a good night. We're going, but I just feel something's off.
I like to think of it as like we're kind of like explorers into places that really not too many people have gone. So like even if you get a feeling about an area or you feel like you might be inclined to do something, and you talk about like you're saying, Mike, like how do you know it was a feeling that wasn't misleading or you were being tricked? I guess from my point of view, it's like that explorer mindset. You kind of just will take chances,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're basing it off your own feelings and instinct. I mean, it's possible there might be some way of being tricked, but it's like kind of what we do. Usually that goes along with taking the chances and the risks and to do it.
Yeah. And then it also, I think, boils down to like, why go through all that trouble when they could just whack me right here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
You know what I mean?
like last night, last night we were going to go to, there was, a couple places that trail, that sighting was between. I could have parked, we could have parked the vehicles anywhere in this, and it's a long ways apart from each other. But, Jack and I got into there and I'm like, let's go, just go, to the next parking lot down, it was just something to telling me, no, get out of here. Yeah. Go to, the next parking lot was only like 50 feet or 100 feet down, but something told me to go to and park in that parking lot and take that trail out to, that parking lot's going to lead right to the trail where we were supposed to be at,
I know sometimes it seems like you might not even get a feeling or anything, but somehow something will come up. Like when we were at Beaver Creek and I was following a trail which turned into a ledge, and it got to a point where there was no more going forward anymore. And it was already like pretty shaky till I got to that point. So I decided to take the hill, and I just went up the hill, used the roots and just climbed up to the top. And then when I got up to that area, shortly after I ran into a footprint, like a beautiful footprint, toes and everything. And I always wondered, I'm like, if I hadn't gone this way and got stuck here and just decided to go up instead of trying to backtrack, which was kind of risky anyways, I wouldn't have ever found that.
Yeah.
So that's almost like kind of like the neutral way of maybe something guiding you somewhere for some reason, not necessarily your own instinct of like, I got a good feeling or a bad feeling. You just didn't even expect it. You just walked into something.
Yeah. And then what a dead end is to us isn't, a dead end to them.
Right.
Right. I've got scared a couple times out there.
Well, I was just going to bring up the one time that you guys, I think it was Jack, you changed over to a red light or something. And something like bull charged, like right to the edge of the light, and like you could see it, man. Yeah, it looked like a jellyfish or something, like something, I don't know. But that's what I took from it, and I can't, I don't know, but I don't know what I think now. But in that moment, what I was thinking was, it thought you were something else because of that light, and it just came right towards you, all like where it might not have shown itself before, and it got to the edge of the light and like saw you guys weren't what it thought you were or whatever, and was like, "Ooh!" Like got
I was like, "Whoa, back up."
like
backed out real slow. It was all like, "Whoa."
It's like, oh, I just messed up. They saw me.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
what's that thing, MT, that thing you guys use, mapping maybe? Like,
oh, yeah. The SLS, yeah.
It kind of like had those, I kind of saw like those dots almost like connecting that thing together. Like it was weird.
Yeah, they were weird. Like when I first seen it, I noticed it right away, and you notice it every time you look at it. It looks like there's like, it almost looks like little like fireflies or something like moving around it. They're like twinkling.
Yeah.
That was the strangest thing I've ever seen when I watched it. That was amazing. Yeah, I always wondered about the red lights. if that was the reason why it got close, is because of the light, or maybe the red lights were the reason why we were able to see what we could of it, was because of the red light reflected off of it, right, or something.
Yeah.
That's when I became a fan of the red lights.
I bet.
But I started using them all the time after that.
Right. So we've been getting into some areas that I decided to start filming during a day. Usually we don't do day when we go search. We don't film, but these couple last areas, I'm glad to, I got like two more videos to put out to you guys for day areas that we've been out to and looking and doing our thing. Kind of give it a twist to show you how we do it when we're out there. Sometimes I'll go to an area alone. Sometimes Trapper will go to an area alone, and Mike does the same thing. He'll go into an area alone. So and Trap will be like, this area is good. Mike will be like, hey, come, let's go over into this area. I want to take you guys, vice versa. But I think we all stay on the same path and try to advance more. I don't know how to say it out loud, but in my brain, take it farther and make this next year just great.
Oh, yeah. Everything that we've encountered over this past year is just going to give us more insight, to what to look for, and,
right.
better instincts on the areas we'll probably revisit or just look for in other areas we haven't been to.
Yeah.
It should be every time we go out, it's probably going to be the same, same thing, get a little better and better.
Right. And like I said, try to get equipment that could help, everyone see, including ourselves. Think of new ways, and incorporate it, and cross our fingers, that we can get this thing actually in film. Maybe we can never. Maybe, it will never come on film. It did for LIB.
Yeah, a couple times, yeah.
So maybe it is a trust thing for them,
Well, my whole thing was a little different from Jump Street, though. It was like that was my task. That was my understanding that my task was going to be to, like, show the suburban Sasquatch. Like, that was going to be my task, was to, like, show them. So they were kind of helping me, you know what I mean? Not kind of, they were helping me, like, present things. So I had it kind of easy. Like, I never really had that, like, really tough task to find them. Like, I kind of just had to, like, go out there and, like, pass on a message, which was the hard part. Being the guy to say, like, hey, they're here in Long Island, and that was my toughest part, was to, stick firm on that and try to explain it, you know what I mean? Because you get the people who are like, well, how'd they get there? Did they swim? And did they take a bridge? Was it in a taxi cab? Because, like, nobody knows what the hell this is, right? Like, in their mind, it's New York City, and I get it, but and I didn't understand it either, really, and it took me a while to figure it out as well, and I'm still figuring it out, and we're still playing guessing games, like, how do they come and go? Do they stay here full time? Like, do they all stay here full time? Or do they all do the same thing? Is a different family different from a different family? Is a different tribe different from a different tribe? Or whatever you call them, clans? Or
right.
And this is where my travel comes into play too. And I love to expand and go to different places and challenge myself and see different things. Some people like to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And I did that for a while until I had enough confirmation to where I was like, okay, like, now it's time to expand on this and really, I'm sure you guys know you go broke doing it, but it's like, it's worth it. It's worth it because there's so much there's so much that you can't just leave alone. You can't just leave it out there. At least, like, I know you guys have that same stance as I do. Like, you can't just sit around the house, knowing that there's a million things you could do with your time, right? A million things you could do with your time that are, a million things. So why this, right? It's important. It's special. It's, there's so much depth to it.
Yeah. I'd like to reach out and talk more. Talk to people more.
It's hard. It's hard. But you've been doing it.
A lot of people, it seems like a lot more people open up more out of the United States. You got
to understand. I'll tell you why. Because we're still figuring it out. It's in everybody else's history books, except like the UK and here. You know what I mean? And like we're a product of like the UK, right? Like that's so for the most part, you could look on any ancient artifact or any book or text or history or whatever, right? Like look at China, they dragon dancing around and shit. It's not by accident, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's all there. We're sitting here like a newborn baby trying to figure out how to crawl. That's why we're all just kind of like grasping at straws and shit. And like, the Native Americans are right there with a lot of the answers. I mean, right there, and it's like, it takes a lot to get trust with them too. And then they do what they do with me, what I do with other people. They don't give me anything. They sit there and wait for me to come to them with what I have and what I and it's almost like going to the doctor. You might have 10 ailments, but like, what's the most pressing? Like, what are you here for? What do you really need right now? And like, we'll do that. And then we'll figure out the rest later. Let's work on what's, really, most pertinent.
Dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I think this next year winter, man, I really can't wait for the snow to fly and get on the ground. I want to see those prints again. I don't care if they're walking into trees. Now that I got more knowledge, go to that tree, baby. I'll climb right up it. If you went up the tree, I'm going in it too.
I gotta get out to you. I gotta get out there to you because there's a lot of things I can't really just say.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, but those footprints, man.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And it's funny because the first well, that wasn't the first year, but like there was like a whole year where I was finding footprints left and right and like filming them, and they were like gorgeous. And people were like, "Oh, you should have casted it. Oh, you should have casted it." I'm like, I'll just get it next time, Like that's how often it was, And finally, I went and I got all this crap, and I'm lugging it around. And I got this big water bottle and this big brick of stuff in my bag, and like I'm carrying it around for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. It was like a whole year, like no footprints. And as soon as I bought the stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna cast a footprint, they were like, we're gonna take away the footprints. Like it doesn't, it's not on my terms. You know what I mean? And there was a lesson in that. There was a complete and utter lesson in that. It's like don't get greedy, like.
Yeah, that happened to me in Trapper. We were going to go back and get casting for that one in the sand, for the footprints in the sand, and bam, like, where are they? Gone. Like, how? Yeah. How are these prints gone? All right. And then then I got one and I casted it, and then I couldn't find a print for like 2 months after I casted it. It was like, okay, now you're punishing me or something. And the print came out, all dirty, like there's dirt stuck to the casting and all kinds of, it's like, yeah. It
was the first one I actually casted was it was like it was winter and in the Catskills, and the heel was in a creek, and it wasn't like a heavy flowing creek. It was just like a little trickle one. And unless it was like downpouring, it would get a little motion to it. But it was just this little trickle creek, like nothing major. And the heel was in there though, and then the prints went uphill, and I was like, this is gonna be so tough. So I just dropped all of it in there, and I think I boxed it off, and it was like that though when I finally pulled it, it had so much crap on the bottom, like I took like half the earth with me, like like earthworm Jim, like like it was so much stuff underneath, and like grass and dirt and straw and this and that, and I'm like, oh man.
Rocks and stuff in it, and it's like, how do these people pull these castings and they get nice, like they get the prints and the nice fine lines and hair stuck in it? I pull it out and there's earthworms, ants stuck to it. It's like,
Yeah.
I was like, what the?
I don't know.
Yeah, mine was
Yeah,
bad.
I talked to Mike Patterson. He showed me some different stuff to use than what I was using at the time. So I was using plaster of Paris from Home Depot, and he showed me some different stuff to use. So I'll try that whenever that time comes. I still haven't got it though.
Yeah,
I was into it for a while about doing it, and then I kind of, I just kind of accept certain things. Like I get a lot of this, but then all right, like I guess there's certain things I'm just not supposed to be privy to. I don't know.
right. Does anybody want to ask any questions? We're coming to the end here. I can't be on too much longer, but I'm glad I got to do this tonight. So if you got any questions, please, put our names in it. Say this one's for MT or LIB or cameraman or trapper. That would be awesome. So if you got any questions, let them fly. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Hey, Elena.
If you asked any questions earlier, sorry, we're in the midst of talking.
Wants to know.
Oh shit! Sorry. What'd she say? I couldn't even see it. She's so wild.
Elon Musk wants to know where all the aliens are. They're all over the planet.
Hey,
Let's see. Notification, got to make sure the bell's clicked. That's the biggest part. I can't, make the notification for you. You want to go click on the bell and make sure it says all. Sometimes YouTube works on their servers and they get reset. So it's a good thing for everybody. Any channel you go to, make sure, if you have it clicked, the bell clicked, make sure it says all, unclick it, and then click it again. That will help.
I guess some questions coming in here. When are you guys going to link up together and do one big hunt?
as soon as possible, I guess.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Let's see, I'm looking.
It's just a matter of funding and organizing schedules, really.
Yep.
Can you use plastic wrap before you cast? The thing is how do they get all the nice creases and hair in it if you plastic wrap down?
Yeah, somebody said use hairspray first or something, and again, I don't know.
I don't know because
I'm not an artist. You know what I mean? I'm not like an artsy type. I can mess up a stick figure drawing. So I'm assuming it's an operator error, not really the equipment.
Got a question. What kind of work have you done, Jack? Work? I was a lineman for years. But I don't know what you mean by work. What kind of work? like out in the field or like work for a job. I was a lineman, but I got in a car accident and now I'm disabled. I got basically a fake ankle, 30 pins in my back, pins in my neck, pins in this foot going up through the bottom of rod, up through the bottom of that, my left foot. And most half my ankle is fake on my right foot, and part of my foot is fake and metal. I guess you could say.
That's why Jack always wants me to use the metal detector whenever we go somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I got a plate in my
He's
head.
going off all the time.
Got a big plate in my head. I don't know if you can see it on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pat asked one. Jack, MT, you guys get heated jackets yet?
No.
I got naturally heated jackets from my own body heat.
Yeah. I sweat out there. Actually, trained myself for winter, believe it or not, early. So when it was cold out, I'd go out in the morning time, drink a cup of coffee out back with no shirt on, you know, and it was like 40 degrees in the morning, drink coffee, and I'd be sitting there like, got trained. Did that for like a month and a half.
Chuck Norris is in the chat.
Chuck Norris. Yeah, so the plastic one, I'm trying to catch up here. Even so, the entire planet. For that. Heated jackets yet? Nope. Love you, almost. You gotta know. Gotta know what to look for. And learn what to look for. Absolutely. All right, Trevor. Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
What tools? That's one. What tools are in backpacks on a hunt?
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Yeah. You could start with yours first, MT. Go ahead.
With my pack, I thought this said pockets. I thought this might be easy. Pack. God, I don't know. I got water, power banks, charging cables, about 20 flashlights, sticks to hold my camera, plus extra sticks. The heck else did I got? I got
Headlamps, walkie-talkie.
yeah, well, that's usually on me, but I keep that extra tablet. I got an extra tablet in there that I use, and then I got I guess my front pack still counts as a front because I got a front and a backpack. REM pod, all kinds of paranormal tools, and walkie-talkie, like you said. Glow sticks. Jeez, I don't know what else. There's probably a bunch of stuff I'm missing.
Yeah. I'm about the same. I do got ghost hunting equipment in case I got to change roles out there. We ain't got nothing going on, but there's some paranormal activity going on. I could change roles, you know. Yeah, knockers, you name it, man.
Yeah,
measuring tapes, glow sticks, walkie-talkies, 25 flashlights, batteries, battery packs, wires, mic, 360, tablet, man, gun, knife, bear spray.
We could do a whole video on it.
Yeah.
Do a whole video on it.
Rope,
I mean,
lines, safety kit.
Yeah, I mean, I carry more of the survival gear for all of us. I mean, I have a little backpacking stove that goes out with me. I got water purifying with me. I got first aid with me. A couple of lights, stuff for my battery packs for my cameras. I mean, we could do actually a whole show on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All of us here had some kind of training in some way. So we all, you know, we carry what could help the group or ourselves be able to survive a couple days out in, you know, the forest if need be. Yeah. Good question. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, Doreen asked one for you, Jack. She asked, when did you take interest in Bigfoot?
When did I?
Yeah, that's what she asked.
Heck, around the first video I put out, that's when I really did. I always had interest in it, but I was a big skeptic. And I was even a skeptic on that day that I was listening to the radio and heard it come through that there was basically a sighting. Someone reported it, and it come through, and I wanted to see the footsteps. I knew of the area, and I was like, well, if it's out there, there's got to be tracks, wow, why are these, state troopers and police going to go out there? Why would they do that? And I went out there, found the area, followed it, seen the footprints, but I was more amazed at the footprints going to the tree than I was at the actual print in the ice, that ice water. It was like a foot. On the video, you can see it's like a foot. But I was more intrigued by the prints going to the tree and disappearing. I was like, really? I didn't know nothing about it, but then I wanted to, and it was.
I wanted to say something to you about that for the longest time. But.
Yeah, I wanted to, and it was like a calling, man. It was like, then I wanted to reach out, and I wanted someone to help me, and then I didn't want someone to help me. I didn't want nobody to help me after I found someone to help me, and then Trapper emailed me, and I knew I needed help. And that's how it all just, now we're here. Now I'm in a rabbit hole in my head.
I watched you get lost in the woods. I'm like, no.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, amazing people. I'm glad all of you became family and sisters and brothers. And I mean, I think everybody, I try to reach out to everybody. Any comment that I get, I do my best to get to, and not just give you the, oh, okay. I try to be there and explain, no matter if it's 1 o'clock in the morning, whatever, it's really nice to have this opportunity to do this and have so many friends, it's awesome. And when I say friends, I mean subscribers too. And you all, it's awesome.
It's really good that you guys do that. There's so many people that just don't reply ever, never. And I think it's so disrespectful, I really do. And I think it's awesome that you guys do that you guys try to get to everybody. And, and this is a good way to do this as well, like a kickback, like I did in the beginning too. I did subscriber Sundays all the time because there was a lot to talk about. There was always like a lot of things going on, and, so it was like, that was a good way to do it. So kicking it with the crew is a great way as well to, give back to them. And keep doing what you guys are doing. I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, I'm very proud of you, man. And I really thank you, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate all the help, man. Always.
I've called you at some weird hours.
Anytime.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody. I mean, Gooden's Auto, everybody,
Mm-hmm.
Sally, Joe. I mean, Dorian just painted a beautiful picture, like she was just like, I took it to Walmart and got it, getting it blown up. I mean, Sharon, everybody that's been here, if I missed you, I'm sorry, but everybody that's been here, from the subscribers to all you guys, I just see y'all as brothers and sisters, and I wish everybody lived close and we can all go out as a 100-man team.
I don't know how much we'd get done, but it would be nice though.
Yeah. We'd all be like, hey, how you doing? And be like, well, we gotta get out of here.
We'll have to work on that outing we wanted to do.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Looking forward to that.
That would be awesome. It'd be fun. We always talk about it and never get to really get in there and do it. It's like it's so much goes on, and then it's like the year just passes by, bam, and it's over. Like, man, we don't, even though we do this all year long, it's like you couldn't even believe it's been 2.5 years, Trapper.
Well, there's so many.
I know. I don't know where it went. It was quick.
There's so many ideas and things you want to do, and like it's hard to compartmentalize them all. You know what I mean? And you got to kind of pick and choose. And again, it boils down to like, you know, time, schedule, family, and like, obviously none of us are rich, so like, I mean, you know, you can't just go willy nilly do whatever you want. So you gotta like,
Right.
yeah, do what you know, pick and choose for. But like, you guys are just getting started. We all are, you know. So there's plenty of time.
Absolutely.
It's good to have things to look forward to.
Right. Yeah, either us coming there or you coming here. However, we got to get it done.
I'd like to do like a meet and greet thing too, maybe, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that'd be a blast.
Fun.
Long Island's kind of like a ways off for everybody, so I would probably do it somewhere like, you know, up in the mountains or like maybe Pennsylvania or something like that.
Up in the Alleghenies.
Yeah, we could do something. I don't know. That's why I was asking you guys about the Poconos, because I was thinking that might be a good place to do it, like in winter or like when it's cheap, kind of.
Yeah.
Like somewhere outside the Poconos where like it's not like ski resort money, you know, but like where like we could get a bunch of people to kind of hang out and like, you know, come, and it would be pretty cheap. And
Sounds good. Down
Yes,
for that.
man.
off season at least, maybe not winter. Off peak.
Right. Yeah, big get together. It'd be fun. And thank you all for the donations, man. I mean, we get them and we thank you and trust us when we say this. It all goes back into the channel, and that's for traveling, and
it does
really helped us out getting to Salt Fork and Beaver Creek, and you know, it really does help, because like you said, we're not it's, if I can be honest with y'all, if you're doing this to make money, you're gonna go broke.
Oh yeah, forget it.
Oh,
you're gonna go broke. You're gonna go broke.
Dorian asked about hoodies. I don't have any hoodies or any t-shirts or anything made up. I do gotta get on that. I've been actually telling myself I need to do something like that. But I'm sorry, I don't have any clothing made yet for the outdoor channel, the Unknown Outdoors.
Yep,
but
I'm working on the store.
Yeah, as soon as I get some Unknown Outdoor hoodies, t-shirts, stuff like that, yeah. You know, maybe that's what we can do when I get, you know, when I hit my 1,000 subscribers. You know, make that up real quick and you know, give out some t-shirts or something. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I just got mine together on YouTube, my store, about a few weeks ago. I think I finally got it set up where I got a variety and I got everything set up there. So
yeah,
right now my mine's got like hoodies and beanie hats and all the winter stuff.
Yeah, I got hats up and stuff, but the store, I mean, gosh, if I could keep the prices so low, I'd only make it like $1 per shirt. But it just doesn't work that way. You got these companies that work with YouTube, and you got to use YouTube. It's not like we can outsource.
Yeah.
You know, you got to use the YouTube stores to, you know, but down by the description, you can click on a link, and there's people that has bought some cool stuff. There's cool stuff there. I think, you know, and we'll get Trapper set up and Mike's store is set up. And LIB, do you got a store?
I've been thinking about making one for about 5 years now.
Time flies, don't it?
Everybody's been asking me for merch forever. I'm just like, yeah, I'll get on it. And then I just end up going in the woods.
Yeah, I just feel so bad when people got to spend money for stuff. You know,
so it is a lot, like, because you have to go through a company that, like, yeah, that's why I haven't done it for the most part. It's just a ripoff, like.
Yeah, I feel bad when people have to spend money.
Yeah, I hear you. I do. I hear you.
But I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. And thank you, Mike. And thank you, Mike. And thank you, Trapper.
Oh, no problem.
Oh
Well,
yeah, no worries. Anytime, bro.
Yeah, you guys are all amazing. And everybody out there, you're all amazing. Love yous. Love yous all, man. Love you guys.
Couldn't do it without you. That's for sure.
No, we wouldn't.
All right. With that said, I'm Jack the cameraman.
Trapper.
Mike, MT Paranormal Life.
I'm the other guy.
Mike C.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Bye.
Good night.